welcome back to the NT Daily for an extra special segment this week. It is our second edition of the NT Daily Sports Edition. So, welcome back. We are doing this because there's this little thing going on that has taken over the United States called the World Cup. And if you are just now tuning into soccer because the U.S. men's team has made it further than they have since, I think, the early 2000s, although debate over what exactly that is, or you don't know the rules of soccer, or what a hat trick is, we are going to learn all of those things today because we have the News Tribune sports writers in the studio with us. We're going to talk a little bit about soccer or football. I'm still confused about that. I assume it comes down to personal preference, so I'm going to stick with soccer. But yeah, we're going to talk about the U.S. men's team, their run, and I think we're going to start talking a little bit about World Cup 101. So before we started the show, we were talking about, is this the only sporting event that happens every 4 years besides the Olympics? It sounds like other sports are taking a cue from soccer and football fans, and it sounds like baseball does something every 4 years, trying to start up something every 4 years, but soccer as a sport has kind of the longest standing tradition of bringing the world's countries together to compete against each other that is not in the Olympics. And it's been going on for a few weeks now in the United States. So I'm going to start with Tom. What is the World Cup if you are just now tuning in to what soccer is?
The World Cup is an international soccer competition. This year it has 48 countries in it. It's up from 32. Used to only be 32 of what would be 8 groups of 4. Well, now this year there's additional groups because, as we all know, money talks. And so you're going to get more money, more teams. And so now you finish in the top 2 of your group, you'll advance to what they call the knockout round, and then the next best 8 teams by points, tiebreakers, other assorted things will also advance. So we're getting down to a round of 32, which will start next week.
Sunday, yes.
Next Sunday.
On Sunday? Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like the World Cup is taking a cue from the college football playoffs and keeping expanding it to more teams, which means the field now going into the knockout rounds is bigger. But the big headline is that the U.S. won their group.
Yeah, that's already clinched. They play their final game tonight. Obviously, FIFA takes care of the host nations. So Canada, Mexico, and the United States didn't have the hardest groups of all time. But the U.S. actually looks good. It's the first time in a long time you turn on a U.S. game and you're kind of thrilled with the product you're watching. So I'm interested to see what they do in the knockout rounds. It'll get a lot harder if they're able to win that first one. But yeah, it's a good time to watch American soccer for probably the first time in my lifetime.
All right. And they have been out their best player, I think, or one of their best players.
Arguably their best player, Christian. He might play in this game tonight. I don't know if he will, but it sounds like he's going to be available for the knockout stage. He got a little banged up in the first half of the first game, sat out the second half, and they've just been kind of taking it slow with him, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's Christian Pulisic. We'll go ahead and put his last name with his first
I always
name.
mess up his
And,
last name.
you know, he's the type of player, he's one of the rare Americans that can really go over to Europe and play in one of their better leagues, and he's kind of trying to prove himself over there, and he is their best player. He got I think it's a hamstring is what it was?
Or his ankle.
Oblique. Yeah. And so,
Soft tissue issue.
Yeah, they're trying to be careful with him because they knew the group they were going to win, and so they were trying to keep him around for their harder, more difficult games, and we'll see if he plays Thursday night or not.
So the U.S. has made it into the round of 32. They're now in the knockout stage, and it looks like, as far as the bracket goes, they have, because they won their group, they will play somebody who was a third in their group, so maybe a little bit of an easier path than they've had even when they've made it this far in years past.
Yeah, it's looking like they're going to play Bosnia and Herzegovina. They're third in, I think, Group B. The difference is that you're talking 48 teams. In the past, to make it out of the groups, you had to be one of the top 16 teams in the world, and the U.S. has kind of always been on that cut line, especially the last 8 years. Now I think you're seeing that there's a big difference between 20 and 32 and 16 and 20 and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully they make it far, but they got to win first.
Okay. So I remember 4 years ago they did talk about upcoming talent on the team. Some of them were playing, they had some new players for the first time. Talk a little bit about the other names, I guess, on Team USA. Is there anybody
I think, yeah, Weston McKennie, I think, is a really good player for them. He can do a little bit of everything. Those are the kind of guys you need to advance. That's what the United States needs in the future. Guys that can do a little bit of everything, that can move around position to position, which I think their new coach this year, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
He's from Argentina.
Yeah, he's from Argentina. That he's done. He's kind of moved guys around, and they're playing different spots. And I think that they're becoming better players in his system. And I think that is so far paid off. Now they came into the World Cup on a bit of a losing skid, and the panic button was being smashed. What are we doing? Well, I think they've kind of figured it out now, and they're playing maybe playing just a little bit differently than they did in that run up. And I think it is shown in the quality of their play that 2 wins and tentatively a third.
Yeah, and obviously a name you got to mention is Flo Balogun up top. I think he's scored 3 goals so far. He's one of the few players that we've seen in recent American history that has the striking ability from in and around the box, where if you get the ball on his feet, something good's going to happen. So he's been a lot of fun to watch up top.
Another one I think is Chris Richards down in the back. Him and Tim Ream kind of solidify that back line. I think in the first game the U.S. played a 3 in the back. That asks a lot of them. They have to run a lot, have to get back, have to track back. They also do a really good job. Only allowed 1 goal. So those 2 are pretty key for them.
So I think the U.S., even in international news, has stood out as a surprise in the group round. What were some other surprises from the group round?
I'll go with Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Cape Verde is a very small country. I think I've heard on a broadcast that the size of Wyoming population-wise.
The city of Baltimore, basically. That's what they're playing with.
Yeah.
And they came out, was it Spain they tied in the first game? Yeah, and Spain is the #1 team in the world ranked-wise. So they came out and they tied them. And they're a team that's got a lot of speed that's actually really fun to watch. I watched their second match, and obviously didn't know much about them as a country or as a team coming in, but they've been very fun to watch, so I'd call them as my surprise.
Okay.
I'd go with Curacao. Obviously, they got kind of throttled in their first game by Germany. And then it was kind of like, they were kind of used as the example. This is why it shouldn't be 48 teams. I think their second game, they played it a lot closer and actually got a point out of it and scored a goal in that. So just kind of seeing the smaller nations kind of compete on the big stage has kind of been pretty refreshing to see.
I'm going to say almost Brazil, because the fact that they struggled in their first game a little bit, and they came in as really one of the favorites. Now they kind of have turned it around a little bit, but I think they've shown that they can be vulnerable, and one of the big names could get knocked out pretty quick here in the next week or so.
Where did Scotland end up in that group? I know that matchup.
I think they got eliminated yesterday.
Did they?
Yeah, They need a lot of help. Losing to Brazil last night down in Miami, I think kind of may have done them in.
Okay.
Those crazy Scots.
Putting Scotland in Miami is
So
not fair.
their accomplishments might just be, come down to drinking Boston out of beer.
Yeah.
That might be the headline.
I mean, that's been the
not
most fun aspect of this World Cup is seeing all these people from all over the world come in and kind of acclimate themselves to American culture. We were talking before we came up here about Netherlands in Kansas City today. They've just completely taken over the city. Obviously, weather shut that down a little early, but it's been awesome to see them, just partying in the American streets and seeing how they mesh with Americans.
And the video of them just walking down the city street, just wall to wall, 20 people wide, and you can't. This goes on forever. Just goes to show how big this sport is in other countries, and how much they're enjoying being in the United States.
Back to the round of 32. We've talked a little bit about the favorites. So would you put Argentina and England kind of in that group too, with Brazil and Spain?
And France has to be added to that group as well. But yeah, that's probably the big group of favorites going in. And World Cups past, you don't often see Cinderella runs that far. You might get a round or 2 in, and then you get knocked out by the superpowers. But kind of like Trevor talked about earlier, there's big differences in tiers when it comes down to these teams. So you would have to guess it's going to be one of those 5 to 6 teams, but I guess that's why they play the game or match.
And don't hold me to this, but I think, it started in 1930. I think there's only 8 total countries that have ever won a World Cup.
Okay.
And so, which tells you it's hard to win one.
Okay.
And so, if you're trying to pick out a favorite, you almost want to pick somebody who's won it before and has been playing well, the last few years, and just look at their talent. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I'm sure we'll get to who we're picking later, but I think, if you're looking for somebody, that's who you're looking for, that's somebody who hasn't won it before.
Are there other teams kind of like the U.S. that may be a little Cinderellas or underdogs that you would tell viewers to watch?
Portugal might be one, just because they're.
How can Portugal be? They've got.
That's the thing. It's tough. Like the 16, 15 teams, I don't think they have a realistic shot to win it. Just given that I think England's really good, France is obviously really good, Spain, all those teams are really good. It's kind of tough because unless a team underperforms in their group and has to play one of those top teams early, you don't know what's going to happen. So without being able to see
the bracket, to full bracket,
it's kind of tough to tell who might get knocked out early. Tough matchup.
Where the Netherlands, will they win their group? Their group out there was Japan and
I think if they win Thursday night, they will win their group.
Their group, okay.
Yeah, that group's really close.
Yeah.
I actually studied abroad in Amsterdam, so I actually got to see the Dutch national team play when I was over there. They had just played Spain in the World Cup in 2010, and I got to see them play Switzerland, I think. And again, I haven't learned any more, and I'm not going to date myself here, but in the decade plus since I saw that game, I have not learned anything more. But I will say the Dutch were a lot of fun to watch a soccer game with.
Oh, yeah.
So Kansas City's having fun today.
Almost slipped and made the first Ted Lasso reference there, but I didn't. I didn't do it.
So in terms of games, so we don't have the full bracket yet, but there's got to be some kind of matchups that you have an idea about that you could tell viewers that will be fun games. Obviously, besides the U.S. game, but would you say the Spain, whoever's going to play Spain? But it sounds like Brazil might have some.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I think there's only one matchup that's 100% set in stone so far, and that's South Africa and Canada.
Okay, there's your.
And Canada's disappointed they didn't win their group because those are both runner-ups in their thing and in their group, and it's like Canada may be a little more fired up now because they kind of stumbled. Who knows? I think that I think all these are the most talented players in the world. It's not the MLS. Nothing wrong is with the MLS, but these players are very, very talented, and so I think any game has the potential to be really good. And just sit down and watch it and give it a chance. I think you could be entertained.
They're not good at just having hockey.
Yes, exactly.
Hockey's our sport now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
We took that. We took that at the Olympics. But yeah, Canada doesn't get to play at home anymore since they didn't win their group. So I think they're headed down to either Seattle or LA, maybe. So that's obviously something to watch for them. They had a pretty disappointing result in front of their home crowd on Wednesday. So yeah, we'll see how they respond to that. But that was not good from them yesterday.
No.
And then Spain. We don't know who Spain. It doesn't look like we know who they'll play yet, but there's some. Let me see here. There were some guesses, right, of who might win that group to come out and play Spain. Or are they not even in it yet? They may not have won their group yet.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Oh, Germany. Okay, Germany's the one I was thinking of. Germany's at the top of the bracket there.
Right.
They'll play. They won their group. Not a team. I have not watched any of Germany's games. Have you guys gotten a chance to watch them?
We've watched them a couple times in the office.
Yeah, just workmanlike. They're kind of like they should always be thought of as one of the World Cup favorites because they win it. They may not be the most talented team, but I think they've won it at least twice, and all they do is play well on the big stage, and I think they have a chance to kind of go deep in the bracket.
Okay. All right, you have Tom's maybe one a hat there to maybe one of the teams he's gonna pick here, but. One of the big stories besides Ronaldo not playing up to expectations, or maybe he did play up to expectations.
He's playing up to his World Cup expectations.
Yeah, maybe we had the wrong.
He's ridden the struggle bus in the World Cup.
But Lionel Messi is in his fourth World Cup. Is that right? Fourth or third?
Fourth or fifth?
Fourth or fifth.
Because Ronaldo's in his
fifth.
Yeah, Ronaldo's in his sixth. I believe he set the record this year.
Okay.
But yeah, Messi's killing it.
And he had a hat trick the other day, and if anybody doesn't understand soccer vernacular, right here. What is a hat trick? Why does everybody get so excited about it? Why is it called a hat trick?
It's called a hat trick, kind of from hockey, I think is where it started. It's 3 goals in one game, and in the past when people would actually kind of dress up to go to the games, they'd be wearing hats. You scored your 3rd goal, they'd wing them out onto the ice.
Okay.
So that's how the hat trick came. So it's 3 goals in one contest.
And a brace is 2.
And a brace is 2. No, we don't worry about that. That's jargon we're not worried about. 2 is 2.
And with that, did he break a scoring
Yes, he
record?
is now the career scoring
Okay.
leader in the World Cup. But who's right? Oh,
I think it's
Kylian Mbappe is.
France.
I believe he's at 12 or 13 now, so I think he's 4 or 5 behind Messi, but he's a lot younger, so he's
Yeah.
going to have a lot of chances to
Yeah.
catch him on that. But yeah, Kylian Mbappe is very, very good.
Okay. So Argentina as a team, fun to watch because of Messi. Any predictions about how far they'll go? Again, I know a lot of this is speculative. We don't know a lot of these.
On a bracket, it's hard to tell, but you'd be surprised if they're not at least in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, they're the defending World Cup champions too, so you would predict them to make a run.
Okay, let's get to, you've mentioned a few of them. The U.S.'s best player, we just talked about Messi. You mentioned France's best player. I am not familiar with France or England or Germany, really. Who are some of the, I feel like we've covered kind of the players that you might be household names at this point if you just even put Sports Center on, right? Like, what are some of the other like fun top players? We have apparently young players to watch.
I would say the breakout star has been Vini Jr. for Brazil. Obviously, Neymar's banged up and not the Neymar of old that we got used to, but Vini Jr.'s really broken onto the scene. I think he had a brace. There's a callback right there last night, and
He's just showing off now. He's just showing off.
I'm a soccer guy. But yeah, he's really shown up in a big way for Brazil when they kind of need that next star to show up for them. So I didn't know much about him coming in, but he's been a lot of fun to watch.
I would go with Norway's Erling Haaland. He scores a lot of goals. That's kind of been his whole thing ever since coming up. And they actually play France, I think, to decide who wins that group. So watching him and Mbappe play on the same field is going to be pretty fun.
Okay.
I'm going to go old school. I'm going to go Harry Kane. Harry Kane of England. I think if you kind of have a propensity to root for the England team, he's the guy you're looking for. You need him to play well to win, and he has that capability. He's a very good player still. And I think, they're hanging out in Kansas City. There was video of him sitting at the Royals game enjoying that. And so I think he's a guy that could be pivotal for them coming down the road, because I think they could too make a run.
So what games are left before we get to Sunday that are what you said there's the France game? Is anybody else fun in the next few days that it's worth?
This could be a good time to talk about. So another thing that changed with the format is the tiebreaker is no longer goal differential or goals scored. It is now head-to-head. Okay. So a lot of these matches in the final round of group stage have a little bit less meaning because a lot of that's already decided from head-to-head matches in the first 2 rounds. So that's taken away a little bit of the meaning for some of the games, but it's also kind of added intrigue to other games down the table a little bit. So this is a talking point one of my friends gave me.
How can you not use head-to-head as a tiebreaker? You prove that you are better than they are.
See, this is the America in us talking because soccer overseas does a lot of things on aggregate. They do 2-game series instead of 3-game series. So, I mean, for us it makes less sense, but for soccer purists, which I would not classify us as.
Aaron, purist?
I'm not.
Okay.
I've learned all my soccer knowledge so far from studying abroad in Amsterdam and watching Welcome to Wrexham. So that's my lingo. Yeah.
That was almost another Ted Lasso reference.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to explain offside?
No,
Just check.
No one who actually even watches soccer can explain it to me. I have watched one full game, the U.S.
Yeah.
The U.S.-Australia game, where their second goal almost got called offsides, and so I thought that was a perfect opportunity to be like, somebody explain it to me, and no one at the table could. So
that's what VAR's for.
Yeah, we've at least gotten to that now, where there's video replay, so you can kind of judge it off of that, which helps because the eye view sometimes is difficult. It's like a balk in baseball. You know it when you see it, but it's hard to explain.
Okay, so try though.
No. You cannot. The offensive player cannot be past the last defender until the ball is passed to him.
Yeah.
It's not that the ball has to be past him, but the ball has to be passed.
Yeah.
I'm using passed in the wrong way, but yeah. So
it's so counterintuitive to sports because you're just in most sports, particularly when you're younger, you're just taught to beat the
Yes,
person,
just go.
regardless.
Yeah, but you
Don't
can't do
worry
it. Soccer, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's strange. It's an odd thing.
Yeah.
What has it always been a big deal? Like I'm truly, this is the ignorant Aaron.
It can be controversial, especially on. I mean, you talked about the United States.
Yeah.
Like it could have been, that could have been controversy if they didn't go to VAR. So, I mean, I think that is a plus now that for the modern game that they can do that.
The most like European or like non-American thing I find to like of understanding soccer is like how much extra time. Like it seems so subjective. Is there an objective way?
This is a perfect fill-in for the 4 quarters now,
Yes,
too.
4 quarters.
So another thing we Americanized with the World Cup this year is we now have water breaks, which was kind of a controversial.
Hydration breaks.
hydration break.
They're
Whatever you
not
want to call
water.
whatever you want to call them. We added them because it's normally really hot in the summer in America, and a lot of these stadiums are outdoors.
What about
Really,
the indoor stadiums are doing it?
they're doing it in all of them. That's what
So
I'm getting
you know-
to. They're really for commercial breaks, so you can make money.
Yeah, okay.
But the way it's Americanized is it's changed it into 4 quarters. So this is more
Yeah.
what we're used to.
Okay.
You just watch in the
Okay.
stands, but the one that happens midway through the second half, all the American people just do this.
Four's up.
Four's up, fourth quarter. And so it's kind of fun. It can be a momentum breaker, I think.
Yeah.
For certain teams. I don't know. I think it's silly, but
Not substantive.
no. We have them here in high school when the temperature's too warm. Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't do it the entire year. I get it. But again, 4's up.
Doing them in Seattle when it's 75 is very funny. But
This is what we've come to. Okay, we will wrap up with we're gonna make everyone pick a team, and I'm gonna go last because we know where Aaron's knowledge is. Or maybe I should go first. I feel we're gonna get into Aaron's feelings. I'm not gonna pick the U.S. because that would be a very like novice thing to do. So I'm not gonna do that.
Well, you're sporting the shirt.
I am. This is what happens. I've been told I have to wear this like Americana until we get to 4th of July. We're promoting the 4th of July parade here at the News Tribune. We're all America. We're all in on red, white, and blue. It's our new personality. So I'm not going to pick the U.S. But one thing we haven't talked about that won their group, Mexico, I don't know. I'm gonna try to pick another like sort of like seems like an underdog team to make.
it would be an underdog.
Yeah, there you go.
That
I'm not
is
going to pick
true.
our underdog. I'm going to pick our neighbor to the south as the underdog.
Our biggest rival.
All right. Then where does the United States?
Wait, where is England? Wait, hold on. I thought England would be our biggest rival,
Nah.
particularly around
For
the 4th of July.
sports-wise, Canada and Mexico are always going to be our biggest rivals because we play them a lot more than we play England. But historically, it's
US in the
England.
World Cup, though.
I think I'm sticking with Mexico, guys. I don't know how far they're gonna go. I don't know where they are in the bracket other than they won their group. But it feels like a safe. I like a good Ted Lasso story. Okay,
There we
Trevor?
go. There's
There
another
you go.
Ted Lasso
Well,
reference.
there was three. There's 3 references. Here we go.
But
Okay.
how far does the United States go?
How far is the I think they'll get out of the first round. I know that there's a lot of folks in Kansas City are hopeful that they'll get to see them in the quarterfinals. I do not think that's going to happen.
No. Is it
Would they play in the
There is a
There's one
quarterfinal
game,
in
but
Kansas
I'm not
City.
sure
I
which one
don't
it would
think
be.
it'll be the U.S. though. I think they're going to try and keep them on the West Coast as much as possible. But
Yeah.
it,
That
it
makes
might be
sense.
Portugal and Argentina though in that quarterfinal.
I think that
Kansas
they
City,
are. I
which would
think
be
Kansas
awesome.
City is actually excited to see Argentina come back, and that's their home base. I think Argentina's home
Yes.
base. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Trevor.
Well, I think I'm going to go with France. I've talked a lot about Mbappe already. He's just a joy to watch as somebody that doesn't know a ton about the sport. He's just very fast, very skilled. So I'm going to go with who I think the best player in the tournament is. So I'll
Okay.
go with France.
Like I said before, 8 countries have won it, and since 1930, I think there will be a 9th. I am going to take the Netherlands to win it all. I think
Wow, I like
defensively they are very good, and I think they can scrape together enough offense to win it. They're my underdog team, and I think the United States perhaps makes it as far as the quarterfinals. Probably loses in the quarterfinals.
I like that. Do they remind you of that 2010 team that played Spain?
Yeah.
This is we're going off the only soccer like knowledge Aaron knows. Trevor.
I'd kind of also have the U.S. going to the quarterfinals, then bowing out to one of the top dogs. I'm going to pick England. I know they haven't won it in a long, long time. I think this is the year they finally get it done.
It's coming home?
Wow. The irony of that, I mean, that would be something to write about on the 250th anniversary.
They don't win on American soil much.
They don't win in Massachusetts either.
That was the best
History
line.
jokes.
That might have been the best line of the segment. That was great. Okay, well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope that you learned a little bit more than I did about. No, it's not, I hope you walk away with more knowledge now about soccer. It's been fun to watch the U.S. team. As always, these guys have tons of updates. They're watching the games every single day. We have tons of coverage on the News Tribune, and we will continue to do some social reels and keep you updated on where everybody's favorites land. But that ends the NT Daily. We hope to hear from you and see your photos of watch parties and everything else. So have a great weekend.